Well, today we're excited to be joined by an incredibly talented band, brothers, whose harmonies are as tight as their message is powerful. You've heard their lyrics and their signature blend of country, gospel, and a little bit of rock. And now you'll get to hear their heart. Please welcome to the show, Band Reeves. Thanks, guys, for joining me.
Thank you. Really appreciate the opportunity. Yeah, super excited.
Yeah. So we like to do some Instagram stalking on some of our guests sometimes. And we saw a post that you guys did a while ago called Just How Country Are You? I could relate to some of those things, but how country are you guys?
Dude, so we're like basically modern day Little House on the Prairie. It feels like most of the time.
Like borderline hillbilly.
Yeah.
That's how I mean.
No, so we live out in East Texas, out in the pines. We're like 25, 30 minutes out away from town, so we're pretty secluded. But we have gardens and chickens, and my wife and I, we raise quail for meat and eggs. So I mean, I would say we're pretty dang country.
Yeah, do lots of hunting, fishing. We actually didn't get into the farming stuff until it's probably been like 5 years ago. We kind of got into the chickens and all that stuff. But as far as like hunting and fishing and stuff like that, I've been doing it our whole life. Yeah.
You guys ever watched the show Homestead Rescue?
Yes. Yeah, I have seen it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, that sounds like that would be something you guys would enjoy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the homesteading is right down our alley. Yeah. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. Yeah. We had chickens before and it was fun. I wish we had chickens now because, the price of eggs, but so people that have chickens now, man, they got it made.
Yeah. Well, so, did you grow up doing any of that stuff? Like hunting and fishing or anything?
I mean, we grew up in Louisville, Kentucky, so the countryest thing we did was our creek in our backyard.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
So but my wife's super country. My wife grew up in the country in Kentucky, and so they had literally one red light in their whole town. And so when she moved to Louisville, we started dating and stuff, and she started running red lights. And I'm like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "You don't have to stop for those." I'm like, "Yes, you do." And she goes, "Well, we don't stop for the one, back in home." And I'm like, "Honey, you have to stop or you'll get pulled over. It's the city. It's a lot different."
That's hilarious.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's like just the I don't know, we love to hunt and fish and process our own meat and all that stuff. That's pretty cool. But I think it's just like the slow living of country life, that we love so much.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, I'd love to hear more about your all's journey. Like, how did you guys get started in music, and what led you to where you are today?
Nice. Yeah. So our dad has been a pastor since I was 6 years old. So he's going on like 28 years of being a pastor. So we kind of grew up around, there were some worship leaders and things like that. And we would sing as little kids every so often. But when I was 12, I started kind of figuring the guitar out. I didn't have anybody around to teach me. So I was kind of figuring stuff out as I went. And then fast forward, I'm 5 years older than Cody. So it took us a little bit. I was up older, like 17, 18 years old. And then he started singing with me. We started singing together. But we led some worship and on and off. But after we gave our life to the Lord, I was in my early 20s. Then we started writing our own music, and that's where things really started to take off.
Yeah. Well, what made you all step out to do this full time?
So we're not really doing it full time. So we still do construction. That's what we do as well.
Okay.
So music doesn't pay the bills yet. I'm hoping.
Okay. Come and fix my plumbing, please.
Does. Yeah.
Can you guys come and fix my plumbing?
We're there. So it's just, it's a crazy balance of life. It's like we were talking earlier this weekend. So we actually played at Yee Yee Fest, Granger Smith's big festival that he does every year on Saturday. And then Sunday, we drove home, turned right back around the same day, drove to Dallas, flew to New York Monday morning, flew back from because we had a meeting with Al from SiriusXM, and then we flew back Monday evening, and then woke up this morning, and we were building decks and painting on the house this morning all day.
Wow.
It's like
Wow.
two lives, man.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It is.
And then balancing that with touring and recording and all that, that's got to be fun.
Yeah. There's always something to do, somewhere to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Jeramy, if I read it right, you have 8 kids.
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
I've got
so
4 boys and 4 girls.
Okay, so you could start a reality show and that'd be your full-time gig.
I can promise you there would always be something interesting happening. People would tune in, like you could just be like a continuous live audience, you know.
So how old's your oldest and then your youngest?
My oldest is 10. He's going on 11. He'll be 11 in September. And then my youngest is about 6 months old, baby girl. Yeah.
I don't get it. I couldn't do it.
Are you guys done? Or is there going to be more?
No, that's all of the Reeves clan that we can possibly handle.
That's what they say, dude. I have heard we're done after number 4, and everyone since then. So who knows?
Nobody believes this, but I'm pretty serious this time.
You already had a tour bus then for your family, and then you just took your kids out to use it for your all traveling, right?
That's about what we need for real.
So tell us about your band name, Band Reeves. My brothers and I were talking and said, it's unique. Normally you would be like the Reeves Band or the Reeves Brothers or whatever, or the Reeves, but Band Reeves. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, so we started off. There's actually another band, another group. They're called the Reeves Brothers. And at the time, so it was like back in 2019, we were kind of doing some D-Nows and stuff like that locally, some church camps. And we started getting phone calls, and people were calling us the Reeves Brothers. But as time kind of went on, people just assumed that we did acoustic stuff. So we were like missing out on full band things because people thought, oh, it's the Reeves Brothers. They just, they play an acoustic, but we really want a full band. And so I guess to fix our problem, we were like, well, we should probably call ourselves maybe Band Reeves, and then people will be like, oh, so it's a full band. And so after we started calling ourselves Band Reeves, I just stuck and there's no going back now.
That's kind of going back to the how country are you question. I mean, the simple solution was just say Band Reeves. Not a whole lot of thought went into it.
I mean, later on down on the road, you could, maybe later on down the road, you could rebrand and say the artist formerly known as Band Reeves.
Yeah, right. Or Band Perry is the Band Perry was kind of I think I was like, okay, because we just didn't know, I didn't really like the Reeves band.
Yeah.
So it just kind of happened. We didn't think a whole lot about it. We're not that creative.
Well, tell our listeners and viewers about your all's latest single, Outrun You.
Yeah,
it's good.
So we have been going back and forth up to Tennessee, writing now for the past year. After we signed, that was the first step for us. And this song was actually our first write with a guy named Jeff Pardo. And it was a guy that I had kind of dreamed of writing with. Mm-hmm. I heard a lot of his stuff, and he kind of had a country flair to some of the things that he's putting out. And man, God just worked it out where that was our first Tennessee write, our first co-write that we had ever done. And we brought this idea in, and it's like God's Spirit just took off with it.
Yeah.
And by the end of the day, everybody in the room, Cody and I and Jeff, we were like, man, this feels like a really great song. and it's based off of Cody and I have similar testimonies, but it's kind of based off of my testimony and coming to know the Lord, and just running, trying to find life in any and everything other than the Lord, and how no matter where you are or what you try to find life in, usually we're just digging a deeper and deeper hole. And that's what can kind of happen for me. And it reminds me of what it says in Psalms 139. It says that whether I go up into the heavens or I make my bed in Sheol or make my bed in hell, that you are there. And no matter where I found myself or what I was involving myself in, God was always there with me, and He loved me. And the fact that He just can constantly pursue me, no matter where I was or what I was doing, was just amazing. And so the song just kind of came from that, from just realizing that you can't outrun God's love for you. He's always going to pursue you. So yeah, that's the story behind it.
Yeah. Now, did you ever have, like, when you were running, did you have people reach out and say, "Hey, man, you might not want to do that," and maybe you learned the hard way with some things that happened in your life? But I was talking with a pastor the other day, and I'm like, I just don't understand why people just don't surrender, and especially people that have been saved and they backslid or fell away from the Lord or whatever, and then they just run so far away from God, and then have the taste of sin. But it's, as people say, it's sin's only fun for a season. And it's going to catch up with you. And so, what was that moment in your life, and where you was like, okay, I can't do this anymore? And then who were those people that kind of helped you through that journey?
Yeah, I think for me, growing up in church, even though there's so many amazing things about like being raised with parents who love God, and you see God in their lives, and they teach you the Word. Sometimes I feel like as a kid being raised up in that can be a hard step for you, because like you feel like so much that it's really hard for it to be this heart thing. And so for me, I actually hid a lot of that. Like I had a lot going on in my life, and most people from the outside looking was like, "Oh, this is the preacher's son," and he's got some good things going. I even led worship. I had taught Sunday school class, different things like that. But my Monday through Saturday, and in my heart, especially, I was a totally different person. And uh, I think what it was for me is I just kept trying to get as much sin as I could get away with without trying to like balance these two lives, and be like, maybe I can just taste sin without actually falling over the edge. And so for me, that's kind of what the process was. And the thing is, you can't sin without consequences, right? Like it's going to happen. And so my marriage really started suffering from that. And my wife Maddie and I, we were like on the verge of a divorce 3 years into our marriage. That's the direction that we were heading. Our relationship really struggled a lot from not knowing the Lord. And my life just kind of came to this point where the Lord just kept wrestling me down to this point where it's time to make a decision whether I was going to make the jump and just jump off into all the things that I kind of had my hands in, or am I going to turn my heart to the Lord and let God change me, even because I couldn't change myself, right? No matter how guilty I felt or, whatever, that sin brings you to a point where it's like, all right, it's time to make a decision. Am I going to follow Jesus, or am I going to follow a life of sin? So it kind of came to a head for me at that point, and really, my wife's walk with the Lord was amazing for me. Just being a constant testimony of what a believer's life looks like and should look like. My dad was a person who was constantly speaking life into me, and I would say that those were two key people in bringing me to the point where I couldn't just totally forsake what I knew was true.
Well, this is a fan-based podcast, and so we will have viewers and listeners writing questions all the time. And we had a fan of you all, and his name is John from Grand Rapids, and he wants to know the story behind your song Wild Oats.
Oh, no.
That's a good story.
Thanks, John. Appreciate you listening and appreciate the question. So Wild Oats, so this was during our independent records that we made. Cody and I were kind of writing together, and there's an old saying, to like especially when you get to the college age, like go out and sow your wild oats. And there was actually a friend of ours that was in that stage of life, in the college stage of life, and that's what he was doing. He was kind of, going out and doing the thing. And man, it was heartbreaking for me because I was watching him make a lot of bad decisions that just continued to send his life into a spiral. And as he was in that, I thought, he has gotten so much bad advice from our culture. Like, this is what you got to do. And then you can like clean your life up, like go sow your wild oats, and then you'll get your act together later. But there's really lifelong consequences to some of the decisions that we make. And so it was just kind of to combat that and say, you can really end up in a really bad place, in this maze of life where you're like, where do I go from here when you make all these bad decisions? But the amazing thing is that Jesus is always there, no matter what the mess looks like, no matter what decisions that you've made. And there is a way out of all of those bad decisions, and God can resurrect and make things new, and he's really good at that. So he's just kind of combating what the culture says like that.
Who are some of your all's influences when it comes to music, your writing, and who are the people that you all listen to?
Oh, dang. So I'm one of those crazy people that my playlist is crazy. I mean, I have people all the way from, call me crazy, but I have always been a huge Kelly Clarkson fan. I mean, just
Okay.
her voice, her songwriting is so good. But I would say in Christian music, I love like Third Day's older stuff. Yeah. A lot of Casting Crowns' stuff is so good, and that was really our kind of introduction into like contemporary Christian music, because we grew up. The church we did, it was hymnals and everything like that, which we loved, and they're so good. So it wasn't until like Third Day's album, like Thief, came out, and those kind of songs. So I mean, huge fan of them. And then I love Shane and Shane. They're some of the greatest, in my opinion.
Sure. Yeah.
Yes.
What about you, Jeremy?
Pre-Jesus in BC, I was a Nickelback.
Yes.
Okay.
A Nickelback guy. Man, crank it to 11. And
what's your speakers? Can you do an impression?
No, I don't know if anybody can.
Absolutely not.
Never made it as a wise man.
Smoke like 10 packs of cigarettes every day for 20 years. Yeah, him, Daughtry. I mean, I grew up on some 80s rock.
Yeah, 80s are good.
I mean, my introduction to Christian music was a lot of Third Day. I even got into just like Toby Mac. I loved a lot of his stuff. Was really cool. Casting Crowns. So yeah, anything with a little rock edge to it.
Sure, that's cool. Well, with our first time guest, we like to do a thing called favorite things. And so I'm just going to give you guys a word and you tell me your favorite thing in that category. Sound good?
Yes, sir.
All right. First one, let's do favorite food.
Okay. You cannot beat my mom's chicken fried backstrap with fried potatoes. I mean, that's
what is chicken fried? What is that?
So it's deer meat, chicken fried backstrap, chicken fried deer meat, venison.
Okay, nice.
That's mine.
What about you, Jeremy?
I would have to say that's mine too. Yeah, you can't go wrong with the steak either.
No, that's true.
Right. Okay. How do you like it cooked?
Medium rare for me.
Yep, me too.
There you go. You're saved. Good job.
Yep. I like it still mooing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. None of that well done garbage.
Yeah. Oh no, my wife is one of those well done people. It's awful. I don't see how she does it. It's like chewing on jerky. It's awful.
I was gonna say, Cody, so next time y'all do steak, buy her a bag of beef jerky and put it on a plate.
Right? She wouldn't know the difference. I'd save money probably.
What about a favorite movie?
Whichever one you pick, mine's probably gonna be the other.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big movie guy. We don't watch a lot of TV, but I would probably there's two, and I mean it would either be The Patriot or
Okay.
Gladiator would be my two favorites.
Yeah, I would say Gladiator or the Rockies. I love.
Oh,
the
those are
Rocky
good
movies.
too.
Yeah. Yeah. My son's well, he watched the first one the other night and he had a lot of questions. What about is there a favorite show that you guys like?
I'm behind. I'm not. So right now, having 8 kids, Paw Patrol is probably at the top
Bluey?
of
I
my
was
list.
gonna say My Little Pony is kind of on rerun in my house right now.
Well, the safe Christian answer would have been The Chosen, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
What about a favorite musical artist of all time?
Yours is probably Kelly.
Yeah, I would have to say Kelly Clarkson.
Okay.
Or the Journey guy. Is that who is
Christian music. I have to land on Casting Crowns.
Yeah, Mark Hall's incredible.
Yeah, I would say Casting Crowns overall, like their whole career has been amazing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's going to be my pick.
All right. What about a dream duet? Kelly Clarkson.
Probably.
So I mean,
Or Mac Powell.
It's because we're doing this, we're doing the same thing. Yeah, an Ann Wilson thing would be cool.
I was gonna say Gabby Barrett.
Yeah, or Gabby
Barrett would be probably my choice.
Yeah, we just really believe in what they're doing. Feel like we're kind of doing the same things. That or Zach Williams would be awesome.
Ben Fuller would be so good. There's so many.
Yeah, Ben's great. What about a favorite ice cream flavor?
It is Bluebell. Snap. What is that one? Cookie two-step. That one's good.
Cookies and cream.
Nice.
Bluebell, cookies and cream all the way.
With extra cookies and cream.
Yeah, there we go.
While I'm eating Oreos and milk.
What about is there a favorite podcast that you guys listen to?
I've really been listening to like Craig Rochelle's, especially his leadership podcast.
Yeah,
that's probably
a great one
that I'm listening to a lot right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me,
nice.
I definitely Craig Rochelle, the leadership. But the other one is Granger Smith's podcast. Yeah. His has been great.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a good one. Well, you guys did a good job on the favorite things. So being brothers, let's be honest, how many times at a band rehearsal has turned into a wrestling match?
I mean, it's really music is the only thing that we got along with each other on, like early on in our teenage years. It was pretty rough, and it was honestly the construction where it's like, who's in charge? And we both had jobs where we went our separate ways for a little bit, and then we came back together and worked, and that was where we really had to figure out, all right, who's in charge here. Yeah, it got tough for a little bit, but we worked through it. Yeah,
honestly, music's the only areas in our life that we've never really had like problems with. It's the only thing that's like, okay, look, this is really the only thing that keeps us together. Because there was definitely a period of time where if it wasn't for music, we wouldn't have been doing anything together.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Between the two of you, who's the better singer?
Oh, clearly, Cody. If you sing, you hear how high he sings. There's no going there for me. Yeah.
Okay, on tour, who's most likely to steal the last slice of pizza?
Yeah, it's definitely me.
Was there ever a moment growing up when one of you said we're going to be in a band one day?
Well, honestly, our whole music journey has been kind of, I would say, different, because for us, it was never like, hey, this is our end goal. We never really had that. It was just when we started in worship, just because we both loved worship. So it wasn't really even like, hey, let's start a band. I can't ever think of us having that conversation ever. It was, we're leading worship, and then, hey, there's a D now, a couple towns down the road. They need a worship band, so they asked us to do it, and then from that one, we got more connections. There never really was a time where we were like, hey, let's start a band.
Yeah, I
Right.
guess the first time that we decided we were going to record was like, all right, I guess we better figure out what this thing sounds like and come up with a name.
Yeah, mainly because you had to have a name.
Yeah. What are we going to put on the album cover?
The Reeves Band.
The Reeves Band.
Yeah.
Well, what is next for you guys, and how can our viewers and our listeners keep up with you?
Yeah, so we have been doing lots of traveling in the fall. So right now we're doing some tour dates and stuff like that, but especially in the fall, we're going to be traveling a lot and hit some tours, which will be amazing. But we also have like a whole stack of songs that we are so excited about. I feel like Outrun You is just the beginning, and it's going to snowball from there. So super excited. If everybody likes what they've heard so far, then I feel like they're really going to like the music that we put out at the end of the year.
Yeah. I mean, and people can always, keep informed. Usually we put our tour dates and event dates on our social medias, on Facebook, Instagram, and all that kind of stuff. So as far as keeping up with it, if we're going to be in your area, you can go on our website. It has all of our future scheduled dates. So if we're anywhere near any of them, we'd love to for them to come out and hang out.
Come hang.
Nice. Well, to wrap up, I'd like to see if you'd be willing to share something that God's been doing in your life recently that would help build our viewers and our listeners' faith.
Yeah, one thing that God's really been, I guess, teaching me in this season of life, because it is so crazy. Just like I was telling earlier, it's almost like we're living two different lives. And I'm also a dad and a husband. They're my priority. My family and my kids are my priority. So then at that point, you're almost being pulled in three different directions, because you need to be a dad and a spouse and provide for your kids, but also you need to provide, financially. They got to have homes, but also God's called us to this ministry. So it's this almost tension in life of like, okay, something's got to happen or something's gonna snap. A lot of times you feel like you get to that point, but honestly, God's been teaching me just patience in the trial, and honestly, just taking day by day. And the Bible talks about how don't worry about tomorrow, because tomorrow's got enough of its own. Just worry about today, and God. For me, it's just trusting the Lord. Like He knows exactly what it is that He has for me in every day, and what He has for my family. So it's trusting the Lord. Like He knows, and He has never let us down, never failed, and He never will. And so really, God's been teaching me a lot of patience right now, and I don't tend to be a very patient person. And I'm more of a structured kind of person. I like to know a plan. I like to know, hey, this is what's going to happen for the rest of the month. I know I can kind of plan around it. And in this line of ministry, and also in this life that we have going on right now, that's not always an option. And so it's just taking day by day, and it's enjoying the moment. It's spending time with the Lord and just asking God to give me what I need for that day, and then allowing the Lord to lead and guide the rest of the day and the rest of life.
Yeah, I'd like to piggyback on that just very quickly and say that life is definitely full of difficult things and difficult seasons, and but if you're following Jesus and He has your heart, and you're asking God, like, what do you want from me? How can you use me? Just following Him day by day. Mm-hmm. He's walking with you, and there's purpose in every season, whether it's an easy season where things are great, or it's difficult. God is there. He walks with us, and there's purpose in it each and every day. So just take joy in it. Take it one step at a time, and walk with Jesus and enjoy life.
Yeah.
Well, Jeremy and Cody, thank you guys so much for talking with me. Outrun You is the latest single. What's your all socials and website?
So it's just bandreeves.com for our website, and then all of our socials are just under Band Reeves.
Nice. Maybe a country rock Christmas album maybe coming up soon, and you can have Kelly Clarkson. You can have all the people in it.
That's what I'm talking about. Well, dude, thank you for opening the door to us and letting us come on here and and talk to your audience. And thanks to everybody who's listening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.